In September 1921, a quiet young woman boarded a small ship headed into the heart of the Arctic wilderness. Her name was Ada Blackjack. She wasn't an explorer, nor a scientist, nor a seasoned adventurer. She was a 23-year-old Inuit seamstress, a single mother from Nome, Alaska, with one goal: to earn enough money to care for her sick son. She signed on to an expedition she barely understood, a journey to the remote, uninhabited Wrangel Island, north of Siberia, led by 4 young men under the influence of the famous yet controversial explorer, Vilhjalmur Stefansson. Stefansson promised riches, glory, and an easy claim to the Arctic for Canada. But Ida wasn't seeking glory. She needed $50 a month, that was all. When the small crew landed on Wrangel Island in September, the reality hit them fast. This was not a land of riches. It was a barren, frozen wilderness where temperatures plunged far below zero. Supplies were scarce, and survival would demand everything they had. At first, things seemed manageable. They built a rough cabin. They rationed their food. They believed Stefansson's promise that a supply ship would arrive the following summer. But the summer of 1922 came and went, and no ship appeared. Hunger crept in. The Arctic winter tightened its grip. By January, one of the men fell ill and died. The others grew desperate. In early 1923, 3 of them decided to risk everything and set out across the shifting sea ice, hoping to find help. They left Ada behind with one man too sick to travel, Lorne Knight. Weeks later, Knight died in his sleep. Ada Blackjack was completely alone, a 23-year-old woman stranded on an uninhabited island in the Arctic, facing blizzards, starvation, polar bears, and the crushing silence of isolation. At first, Ada was terrified. In her diary, she confessed her fear of the endless nights and the sounds of wild animals prowling outside the cabin. She'd never hunted before. She didn't know how to trap foxes, shoot seals, or defend herself from polar bears. But slowly, out of necessity, she taught herself everything. She built stronger shelter from driftwood and scraps of canvas. She crafted a stove from an empty oil drum. She learned to set traps and hunt birds, catching whatever she could to stay alive. She kept herself busy repairing clothes and boots, sewing fur mittens, and lining sleeping bags with scraps to fight the bitter cold. Her journal shows a mind that refused to give up. Every day she wrote about her plans, her fears, her longing for her son, and her determination to survive. She was terrified, yes, but she was also resourceful, practical, and fiercely resilient. As the months passed, Ada became something she never thought she could be: a hunter, a builder, and a survivor. She faced down polar bears. She endured blizzards. And through it all, one thought kept her alive: she had to return to her son. By the summer of 1923, Ada knew she couldn't last another winter. Her supplies were nearly gone, and rescue still hadn't come. She prepared herself for a journey back towards civilization, even though the odds were almost impossible. Imagine it, a young woman, completely alone, preparing to cross shifting sea ice, knowing that one misstep could send her plunging into freezing waters. Blizzards raged. Ice cracked beneath her feet. Polar bears roamed the shoreline. But Ada never stopped moving. Step by step, she forced herself forward. And then, when she was at the edge of exhaustion, something miraculous happened. On August 20th, 1923, Ada spotted a ship approaching the island. It was the relief expedition, sent almost 2 years after the original crew had landed. When rescuers came ashore, they expected to find no one alive. Instead, they discovered a young woman standing on the beach, calm and composed. Her clothes were patched from her own sewing, her cabin fortified by her own hands. She had survived 23 months on Wrangel Island, alone. News of her story spread quickly. Newspapers called her the female Robinson Crusoe. She became a symbol of courage, strength, and endurance. But Ada didn't see herself as a hero. She was just a mother who had done what she had to do to get back to her son. Ironically, others profited from her survival story. Stefansson wrote books and gave lectures, earning fame and money, while Ada received very little recognition and struggled financially for much of her life. Still, she achieved her original goal. She used her earnings to pay for her son, Bennett's medical care. Ada Blackjack's story is more than a tale of survival. It's a testament to the strength of the human spirit, to resilience, determination, and the will to live, even when the odds seem impossible. She wasn't a trained explorer. She wasn't seeking fame. She was an ordinary woman placed in extraordinary circumstances, and she endured.